Good day, mariners! Together with my team, please do allow us to discuss and impart to you our knowledge and understandings with regards to maritime aspects, specifically the safety at sea, at anchor, and during maneuvers. First, the implications of commercial decisions in terms of safety. In this topic, this is way too crucial because this pertains the vessel and the company's decision making in terms of safety. The company and its employers are conscious about the implication of commercial decisions in terms of safe ship operation and pollution prevention. In case any vessel should cross at sea not covered by the ship's nautical charts, the company shall take all the necessary measures to guarantee a safe navigation of the vessel. Yes, because there are some instances that the passage of the vessel will cross into an area which are not covered by the ship's nautical charts. So therefore, in that case of sudden change of route, the company shall evaluate taking into considerations the possible dangers connected to the new routes and ports if particular instructions must be given to the vessel. These dangers might be connected to navigation, such as strong currents, strong tides, and many more. And regarding the navigational areas, such as the piracy. In all other cases, the nautical charts and publications of the new areas must be supplied to the master. So that he or she will assess the new nautical charts provided by the company will assure that the vessel will meet the safety.
7.1.2 is about the master's standing orders. The purpose of these standing orders, which is issued by the master of the ship, is for the reason of when during the absence of the master on the bridge, the officer on watch will have no doubt as to what his responsibilities are and what actions should he be taking during his watch. And also, these standing orders should always be located and be posted at the bridge. It is for the reason of an easy consultation for the officer on watch. 7.1.3 is about the voyage and passage planning, where it talks about the procedures and the elements, the fog signals, the sailing directions, the tide tables, list of radio signals, and etc. And then the total miles to go and the navigational dangers along the route and in the immediate vicinity, the minimum safety distance to keep from the coast.
Bridge watchkeeping. The watchkeeping on board is established taking into account the number of officers established by minimum safety manning according to the following. On vessels with 3 officers other than master, for the chief officer, 0400 hours to 0800 hours and 1600 hours to 2000 hours. For the second officer, 000 hours to 0400 hours and 1200 hours to 1600 hours. For the third officer, 0800 hours to 1200 hours and 2000 hours to 2400 hours. On vessels without third officer, for the chief officer, 0400 hours to 0800 hours and 1600 hours to 2000 hours. For the second officer, 000 hours to 0400 hours and 1200 hours to 1600 hours. And for the master, 0800 hours to 1200 hours and 2000 hours and 2400 hours. On vessels without third and second officers, for the master, 0800 hours to 1400 hours and 2000 hours to 0200 hours. For the chief officer, 1400 hours to 2000 hours and 0200 hours to 0800 hours. These hours are suggestive and can be changed by the master in full compliance with current legislation about working hours. Ship's speed and course in hazardous situation. In the event of hazardous situation such as risk of collision, bad weather, restricted visibility, high traffic density, other hazardous situation, The vessel speed must be adjusted to allow a safe maneuvering margin, also in case of failure of main engine and steering gear. In particular, the following precautions are to be taken. Where the automatic pilot is used, it must be possible to immediately take over the ship steering manually. A continuous watch of the radar and ARPA, if applicable, is to be made. A qualified helmsman shall be ready at all times to take over steering control. Where applicable, both steering gear pumps are to be put into service. The main engine shall be ready for immediate maneuvering. A standby generator is to be started and connected to the main switchboard. When the vessel is restricted waters or can be on a risk of collision, in addition of above-mentioned precautions, the following must also be observed. In case of bad weather, small boats are often confused with waves, rain, or radar echoes. Every action must be taken in due time to avoid the collision. Avoid a succession of small alteration of course. Change the course with significant alteration in order to be observed by the other ship. In doubt of collision with other vessels, must be passed at safe distance and to follow the ship till finally passed and is free from your ship. When restricted visibility is encountered, the first responsibility of the master is to comply the regulation for preventing collision at sea. Requirements concerning the sound of the fog signal and switch on the navigation lights are in particular to be complied with.
I got these fresh eyes, never seen you before.
Precautions when the ship is at anchor. The master must take such precautions to avoid danger to the ship and personnel. The master must take into account the following: area used for anchoring, main engine readiness for maneuvering, precautions against act of piracy, weather forecast time intervals, bridge or deck gangway attendance. The following requirements must be complied with. On arrival, the master shall take note of all information regarding any special request of the port authority with reference to the minimum number and rank of personnel always to be present on board. A minimum number of personnel must remain on board to ensure compliance with the following requirements: deck and engine watch with at least one deck senior officer and one engine senior officer. In non-protected areas, the engine should be ready for maneuvering within 1 hour. Maintenance work on the main propulsion machinery when the ship is at anchor. Maintenance work should not be carried out on the main propulsion machinery when the ship is at anchor. The master must request necessary information to authority before starting the maintenance work. When the maintenance work is allowed by local authority and chief engineer deems it necessary, the following procedure must be observed. The head of technical office is to be informed and his approval sought. The master must give his approval based on evaluation of availability of both anchors, sustainability of seabed for anchoring, anchoring position, and many more. The expected duration of maintenance work shall not exceed the intervals between 2 consecutive weather forecasts unless, in case of need, the work may be interrupted and the propulsion plant made operative in a short period of time.
Ooh, fresh eyes, fresh eyes.
Maintaining safe under keel clearance, shallow water navigational safety guideline. So, a ship safe maneuverability depend on the available water. Depth of the navigational area concerning the vessel draft. Water depth limitation will considerably change the pressure distribution around a moving ship. They will mostly cause an increase of the hydrodynamic forces due to the ship motion through the water. Besides the expansion of the ship's resistance, water depth restrictions generally decrease her maneuverability. The dependency of the maneuverability in the lower under keel clearance or UKC range is very significant. A small reduction in UKC result in a considerable increase in the turning circle dimensions. As a result, larger bend radio are required in shallow navigational channels. A ship's directional stability and maneuverability change considerably as a function of the available UKC, especially in the natural waterway, like rivers, estuaries, where the water extent may vary significantly, both over the channel and over the tidal cycle. A ship maneuvering characteristic may be subjective to essential changes transit through the canals. So, to ensure the ship navigational while approaching shallow water, it is the master's responsibility who must calculate precisely under keel clearance requirement for the vessel and ensure that remain afloat at all
in
times.
love with a stranger. I can't believe that she's mine.